Romney's flip-flopping, and this because it's all happened basically in a single day. Sunday, he delivers the speech where he makes it very clear that Israel's economic superiority over the Palestinians is because of culture, right? Outcry from that, accusations of racism from Palestinians, you. So then he goes on to try and clarify it. They back away from it almost immediately, and in fact, on Tuesday, he goes on Fox News and discusses it with Carl Cameron and leaves it very clear that that's not what he said.
All right.
I'm not speaking about it, did not speak about the Palestinian culture or the decisions made in their economy. That's an interesting topic that perhaps could deserve scholarly analysis, but I actually didn't address that. Certainly don't intend to address that during my campaign.
No, he does not want to address that, even though he totally addressed it on Sunday. Now, what happens next is interesting. So before he even made that comment on Fox and after, so in the midst of all of this, there are conservatives that are going on television saying, I'll tell you what, Mitt Romney nailed it. Those Palestinian sons of bitches and their culture, they're no good. I'll tell you, they're no good at all. And Santorum comes on even after Romney makes this statement and says, oh yeah, Palestinians, their culture, they got to learn from capitalism and freedom. I love that they are telling the Palestinians that they should learn to be free when they're being occupied.
Yeah.
I think the Palestinians' answer would be like, yeah, sign me up. Okay,
Yeah.
where do I get that freedom?
So before he had already backtracked in the morning, but that hadn't gotten out to a number of the Republicans.
Right.
They hadn't heard the backtrack yet. Rick Santorum has a long clip. We won't play you where he was backing him. Romney did. Blogger Jennifer Rubin, conservative blogger for the Washington Post, she praised his speech, that this was not the calculating old Mitt Romney. In fact, that he was blunt, thoughtful, and giving the Palestinians a dose of hard truth about the importance of capitalism. If this is the Romney we're going to see during the balance of the campaign, she said, Barack Obama is in deep trouble because here comes bold, strong Mitt Romney. She didn't even know he'd already backtracked on it.
I love that. She's like, and the thing she emphasized was, he is unapologetic about this. As he was in the middle of apologizing on Fox News.
Right.
Okay. But then so he sees all this and he's like, oh damn, I screwed up again. You know, I shouldn't have flip-flopped. So what's Mitt Romney going to do when he's done a wrong flip-flop? He'll flop again.
He'll flop again. So he comes back, and that same day, Tuesday, same day he appeared on Fox, he writes an editorial in the National Review Online called "Culture Does Matter." Can we see
unbelievable.
Can we see graphic 8 just so we get the beginning of this? So he writes this thing the same day he did it, and there you see it. Culture does matter. In case you're ambiguous about what we're going to do, by Mitt Romney.
Yeah, not by a handler.
Yeah, by Mitt Romney. During my recent trip to Israel, I had suggested the choices a society makes about its culture play a role in creating prosperity, and that the significant disparity between Israeli and Palestinian living standards was powerfully influenced by it. During my recent trip, I suggested the choices a society makes about its culture play a role in creating prosperity. If you could, let's go back and play clip 7 one more time. Earlier in the day.
I'm not speaking about it, did not speak about the Palestinian culture or the decisions made in their economy. That's an interesting topic that perhaps could deserve scholarly analysis, but I actually didn't address that. Certainly don't intend to address that during my campaign.
Except for the op-ed I just wrote about it, flip-flopping for the second time.
During my trip to Israel, I suggested the choices society makes about its culture play a role in creating prosperity.
No, he's
all in one day. All in one day.
No, but the thing I'm most amazed by is his advisors. Doesn't somebody pull him aside and say, hey, Mitt, you can't do it. It's too late. You already flip-flopped once. You can't flip-flop again. I mean, your whole problem is that the original Mitt Romney problem is that you look like a horrible flip-flopper who's, and the hilarious part of this is that his book is called No Apology. Okay, and here, the one time he gets praised for not apologizing, he apologizes, then apologizes for his apology.
And that's exactly what happened, in fact, was that because he'd already flip-flopped once, the issue had already had a flip-flop at the Fox interview, and they realized that they had made the wrong choice and that they needed to come back strong because they'd gotten what they'd always wanted, is that all of a sudden, hey, look, conservatives like me.
Yeah.
Like, here they are. Conservatives are into this.
And that's
so
why
let's
he had
write
said it in the
editorial.
first place. That's why he'd taken this, he'd slapped the Palestinians in the first place.
It suggests that maybe he either doesn't believe it or doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Or doesn't care.